We're now talking to Ian Halperin directly in Miami in the United States. Hi, how are you?
Very good, very good. Manishma,
Manishma. What do you say in Hebrew then?
Manishma.
בסדר, בסדר would
בסדר,
be the
בסדר.
traditional answer. It's a slightly different situation here right now. So it's a lot of spiritual work and breathing to keep us sane. Yeah.
So,
I think we definitely need spiritual breathing right now to keep us sane because what we're going through is one of the most horrific times we have seen in our lifetime since the Holocaust, since the last artillery were fired in the Holocaust. We've never seen anything like this. And it's all inexorably linked to one thing: anti Semitism, Jew hatred, and the prevalence among Jews to hate them, to besmirch them, and to try to get away with it is just appalling. And I ask you this: why in this land of plenty does the joy of peace escape many?
it's a philosophical question, you know. I'm the only person here in the room who's not Jewish, but since there's something interesting about this because
Well,
I
it doesn't
was,
matter if you're Jewish or non-Jewish. To be honest with you, and to all the Jews out there, to all the non-Jews, it's not a question of whether you're Jew or non-Jew. It's where your heart is. And in my book, Bigot, I say even in my hometown, there were many Jews who refused to support me all these years. They came to my charity events. I was chairman of the board of the Israeli Tennis Association for 5 years. They came there, and none of them ever cut a check. Like non-Jews cut checks. Everybody cut checks except people from my hometown. So it's not whether you're Jewish or non-Jew. It's where your heart is. And if you believe in human rights, if you believe in justice, and also if you believe in the beauty of peace and respect for each other and other cultures. Let's face it, Israel welcomes many non-Jews. You have 2 million Arab Israelis living there. They get votes. You know what Roger Waters said? He says it's an apartheid state. Well, I was a big leader of the anti-apartheid movement when I was very young, and it has nothing to do with apartheid Israel. It's ridiculous. Apartheid was a two-class state. Israel isn't. You have people voting in the Knesset who are Arabs. You have Arabs in the Knesset. That never happened in apartheid. So what Roger Waters and other celebrities have said about Israel is extremely egregious, false. And when he says Israel's worse than Nazi Germany, I take that as a huge attack because my father's a Holocaust survivor. And I just can't be long shrouded in silence. I have to verbalize what I feel. And that's why I did the movie Wish You Weren't Here. And I did the book Bigots, because few have dared to voice their true opinion. And that's the problem. That's the problem in my hometown, Montreal. When push comes to shove, the moment of truth, they disappear.
yeah.
The Jews. And I call them out. And many non-Jews have been more supportive than the Jews in my hometown of Montreal. And they refused to be shrouded in silence. They spoke out. So this is definitely not a Jew and non-Jew thing, because we all bleed red. We're all the same. And here you are, a German, who I applaud you because, look, you're a successful DJ in music, but you've always had compassion for the Jewish people, respect for Israel. You go there often. And that's more than most Jews that I know in North America. So it's not Jew or non-Jew. We all bleed red. We're all in this together. And we have to learn how to respect, appreciate the beauty of each other's cultures. There's nothing better. I mean, I got to be honest with you. The last thing I want to do in my life is be in a room surrounded by 100% Jews. And I'm Jewish. I want to learn from other people. I want to taste their food. I want to break bread with them. And I want to respect their religion the same way I expect them to respect mine. It's that simple. And when you talk about this war right now going on, look, I have to say, most people are in this war unwillingly. They've just been thrown in the middle of a war unwillingly. And on both sides, Palestinian and Israel, I'm calling out the enormous ego of the politicians to unwillingly throw these people in middle of a war. Like, if you take a vote, I guarantee you 99.9% of people on both sides will not want this war. Trust me. For my film and my book, I interviewed probably 1,000 people, equal on both sides. I had trouble finding one person who wanted a war. I actually stood up in the middle of the desert and said, does anyone want a war here? I'm having trouble finding one person who wants, they all want to break bread together. They all want to work together. So what the hell's going on?